The world is changing, and new products and services made possible by technological advances are rapidly embraced by people. However, these changes, which on the surface are making life easier, have a profound underlying impact on the economy and society, causing those who do not adapt to risk living in a completely dystopian future as early as 2030. In the first half of the 19th century, the first industrial revolution occurred, thanks to inventions like the steam engine, trains, and the cotton spinning machine, among others, which facilitated the production of many goods still in use today. In the second half of the same century, the second industrial revolution began, thanks to electricity and assembly lines, allowing for large-scale production and significant cost reductions. The second half of the 20th century marked the start of the third industrial revolution, characterized by the rise of computers and the internet. And now, we find ourselves in the fourth industrial revolution, where automation, artificial intelligence, data mining, and the Internet of Things are shaping the new economy. This is the framework presented by Klaus Schwab in his book The Fourth Industrial Revolution, in which he discusses the potential impacts of new technologies on the world and the radical changes they could bring to our lives. However, this German economist is known for something very different from his books or his economic opinions. Schwab is the founder and director of the World Economic Forum, an organization established as a nonprofit in 1971 but funded by over 1,000 companies, including some of the world's largest. This organization officially states its goal as, "The forum engages the foremost political, business, cultural, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industry agendas." Like many organizations of this nature, the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab have drawn significant media attention due to the participation of the world's most powerful individuals in these events, leading to skepticism and distrust from the general public. And perhaps nothing related to the World Economic Forum, in its more than 50 years since its founding, has generated more controversy than the Great Reset. This initiative was introduced during the pandemic and is based on the circular economy, which emphasizes services over goods and is a product of the fourth industrial revolution. This initiative, which on the surface is simply a vision of how the world will be shaped by these technological advances, is highly contentious. Its timing alongside other global events raises concerns about what is a natural part of technological development and what may be a series of planned events. But as always, I'll leave it up to you to decide. Here, we will look at the economic and investment effects. Let me tell you more about the Great Reset and the controversy it has stirred, likely starting with the infamous and controversial phrase, "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy." This phrase refers to the idea that in a service-based economy, as will be the case in the fourth industrial revolution, people won't own many possessions but will access nearly everything through services. Instead of DVDs or Blu-rays, there are streaming services. Instead of cars, you use Uber. Instead of a summer home, you use Airbnb, among other similar examples. You can probably think of examples just by looking at the apps on your phone. While up to this point, it might seem normal and not particularly alarming, it goes further. The vision of this new world, as condensed in an article published by Forbes in 2016, with material from the World Economic Forum, describes the daily life of a person living in this utopian future for some and dystopian for others in the year 2030. They live in a rented apartment, use transportation apps, own no appliances or clothing but rent them when needed, and the space they occupy is used for office meetings when they're not there. They admit to missing their privacy because everything they do is recorded, but they claim to be very happy. It's important to clarify that while there wouldn't be an outright abolishment of private property as seen in collectivist economies like socialism and communism, control over this property would concentrate in very few hands. In other words, it's a more extreme version of what we currently experience. As I've mentioned on other occasions, beyond providing an evaluation of all this, which I'll leave to you, it's important to explain how these trends are being facilitated and accelerated and how one can adapt to take advantage of them. But before we proceed, remember to subscribe to support the channel and so that we can continue bringing you more videos like these. Obviously, technological advancements, driven by humanity's clear desire for an improved quality of life and aligned with the market to generously reward those who have managed to satisfy these desires and continue to incentivize them, are not the problem. And the inequality caused by economic growth is often a necessary evil because, in the end, the overall population benefits. The issue lies in the fact that inequality has found a powerful force driving it within the governments of each country as a result of monetary stimuli that have vastly inflated assets in general while diminishing the purchasing power of individuals. Because when governments overspend, people have to cover those deficits with taxes or inflation. Inflation is particularly burdensome for the poor, who depend on income increases to maintain their purchasing power, while wealthier individuals have assets and more flexibility to preserve or even increase their wealth during inflationary periods. Official inflation data is also, in many parts of the world, measured based on a basket of goods and services, which do not represent the entire economy and exclude the price of housing. Historically, owning a home has been very important to people and a dream for many families. Each country experiences a different version with its own details and peculiarities, but it's likely that from where you're watching this video, the prices of houses and apartments have increased at a faster pace than inflation and wages over the past few decades. This means that at least the first part of the Great Reset vision is coming true, with many people not owning property. However, the second part, where they are happy despite this, remains elusive. So, what can be done to adapt to this new economy? Although you may have heard these pieces of advice many times before, perhaps presenting them in this context will have a greater impact on you. The first piece of advice is that technology can be a powerful tool if used correctly. There are hundreds of apps that can help you learn new things, be more productive, track your progress in different areas, access information, books, classes from prestigious universities available online, free or low-cost education platforms that provide access to a wealth of knowledge, and many other possibilities you can take advantage of. However, when technology is excessively used for entertainment purposes, such as TikTok, or when you have social media notifications constantly active and you get a dopamine rush with every message you receive, the damage to your concentration becomes increasingly noticeable. This leads to the second piece of advice: think long-term and learn to delay gratification. This could mean avoiding unnecessary expenses on things you don't need, choosing to learn instead of entertaining yourself, or opting to exercise rather than watching TV series and movies. The third piece of advice is to learn about investing and leveraging. While in the past, it was smart to focus on a job and save a surplus, the returns from saving now do not keep pace with inflation. Therefore, understanding how money, the economy, and investments work is no longer optional for anyone. And the fourth piece of advice is simply to maintain critical thinking in everything, even with what is presented in this and my other videos. The Great Reset suggests the need to change the economy under the pretext of sustainability, which, while representing a real issue, it has also been highly politicized and has become a source of disinformation. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to support the channel, please share it with others who can benefit from this information. And if you want to learn about other trends that are shaping the world, I recommend you watch this video about the end of globalization next.